everyone, today I have a sequence for you for low back pain. So whether you have an injured back such as a herniated or degenerative discs, or maybe you just have consistent low back pain or even sciatica, this sequence will help open up through your hamstrings, your hips, and your low back. Before we get started, I want to talk about the difference between spinal extension and spinal flexion. So spinal extension is any time you fold forward. Spinal flexion is any time you bend backwards. So what I like to do is I like to think about the spine, and your discs are little jelly donuts. My fingers here is your spinal cord. So when you fold forward, your jelly donuts are getting squished, and because there is no support behind you, the jelly could squirt out the back. Where if you bend backwards, even though your jelly donuts are being compressed, your spinal cord is there to keep everything in place. That is why it's recommended to have more spinal flexion if you have low back pain than spinal extension. That being said, if and when you do fold forward, it's very important to bend your knees and to not pass a 90-degree angle. So if you think about it, as you fold forward, just traditionally, that puts a lot of pressure on your low back and those discs, those little jelly donuts. So if you're bending forward, what I want you to do is deeply bend your knees, integrate your shoulder blades, and fold halfway. You can still melt the crown of your head towards the ground without putting all of that pressure on your low back. Great. This sequence is going to involve 2 blocks, such as these. If you don't have a block at home, that's perfectly fine. A big book could help. And in certain situations, even just a hard water bottle could be what you could use as support. Okay, let's get started. Child's pose. Take your knees wide, bring your big toes to touch. Reach your fingertips forward. I'm going to take a few moments here just to become centered. Steady your breath, intentional inhales and exhales. The purpose here is to ground down, to integrate your muscles onto your bones, and to provide length through your spine. Draw the pit of your belly in and up. On your next inhale, walk your hands off to the right. Stack your left hand on top. Press your hips back towards your heels. On your next inhale, walk over to the other side. Stack your right hand on top. Press back. You're going to feel this opening all through your right side body. Good. Walk your hands back to center. Take another few moments in child's pose. Waking up your fingers. Press your hands into the earth. Tabletop. With tabletop, it's important to generate a bone over bone stack, so your shoulders are over your wrists, your hips are over your knees. We're going to take a few rounds of cat-cow. On your inhales, cow, look up towards the ceiling. On your exhales, cat, press the earth away, round out like a Halloween cat. You're doing this matching your breath. Any inhale, look up. On your exhales, round out, draw the pit of your belly in and up. Inhales, move your shoulder blades towards each other. And exhale. Last time. Good, come back to neutral. Extend your right leg behind you with the ball of your foot still on the ground. Draw the pit of your belly in and up. Press your left shin into the earth. Switch sides. Same thing, ground down through anything touching the ground. Draw the pit of your belly in and up to activate the pose. Good, come back to center. Take your right foot out to the right. If you can, plant your foot so it's nice and flat, or you can point your toes up towards the ceiling. Either is okay. The intention here is to get a stretch through your inner thigh. So if you're already feeling it just like this, you can stay. You can bring your blocks or your books into play. Lower your forearms down, push it to the earth. You can even drop your forearms all the way down to the ground if that's where you feel the opening. Take a few intentional rounds of breath. Make any adjustments that you need. Good. Come back to a tabletop. Then switch sides. I'll do this side facing you. Extend your left leg out. Once again, an option, flat foot or toes to the ceiling, whichever is going to give you your opening. Press your foot into the earth. Lower your chest to a space where you feel it through your inner thigh, your adductors. Breathe. Good, come back to center. We're going to take a side plank. So, coming from your side, make your right shin perpendicular to your mat. You're going to stick your left foot out just like we were. Reach your left hands to the ceiling. Draw the pit of your belly in and up. So what's important here is that your shoulders and hips are in one long line. Come back to center, then switch sides. Your left shin becomes perpendicular with the edge of your mat. Extend your right foot long. Reach your right hand up. Take your gaze to your right thumbs. Draw the pit of your belly in and up. Draw in through your core. Good, come back to a tabletop. Low crescent lunge, step your right foot forward. Reach your fingertips to the ceiling. So the deeper the angle in your grounded leg, the more intense your stretch will be through your hip flexors. Draw into your center line, reach up. Half splits. So this is where your blocks, books, or water bottles will come in. Straighten out through your front leg, flex your toes. Key here is to keep your back nice and straight. So lead with your heart. Start to fold forward. There's a tiny micro bend in your knee. And breathe. Once again, you can adjust your block height to whatever fits you best. Be true to yourself. Good. Come back to your low crescent lunge. Lift the front of your pelvis as your tailbone descends. Reach up. We're going to start to add some spinal flexion. With your breath, start to take your gaze up and back. Inhales, lift. Exhales, go back. Don't rush your process here. Slow and steady, lift and lean. Good. Make your way back up to center. We're going to take a twist. Reach your left hand down to the block or the ground. Reach your right hand up. With each exhale, see if you can stack your right shoulder over your left. Come back to center. Good. We're going to switch sides. Low crescent lunge. Move your left foot forward. Hug into center. Bring muscle action from your toes to your fingertips. Let your hips melt towards the earth. Half split. Straighten out through your front foot. Flex your toes. Once again, nice straight back is what we're going for. Lead with your heart. Tapping into the back of your left leg, feel a hamstring stretch. Maybe even a calf stretch, depending how tight you might be. Good. Come back to a low crescent. Wake up through your fingers. Start to add that spinal flexion with breath. Inhales, lift. Exhales, go back. One more round of breath. And make your way back to center for the twist. Release your right hand down to the block or even the floor. Twist your right fingers to the ceiling. Good. Come back to center. Take both your blocks, or if you only have one, take your block to your right side. Your right hand is going to come here. We're going to take a half camel. So bring your right hand to your block or your water bottle. Reach your right hand to the sky. Notice the difference here. My hip is stacked over my knee versus forward when we were in low crescent lunge. So you have a 90-degree angle in your back leg and your front leg. With breath, inhale, lift, and go back. The goal here is to keep your hips stacked over your knee. Good. One more round of breath. Lift the front of your pelvis towards your belly button, and slowly make your way back up. Switch knees, right knee forward. Once again, you're forming the two right angles in your legs. Move your support to your left side. Your left hand is on your block. Reach up with your right. Inhales, lift. Exhales, back. Press your grounded shin into the earth. And slowly make your way back up. Great. Come onto your stomach. We are going to take a modified locust pose. So traditionally, locust pose, you lift everything off the earth. But if you have low back pain, you're going to notice a lot of tension and compression happening here. So for today, bring your arms to 90-degree angle on the ground. So you're making like a field goal. Keep your legs grounded. In fact, press them into the ground. On your inhales, lift your chest off the earth. Exhales, lower down. We're going to do this 5 times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Think about lengthening on your inhales. Lower on your exhales. Two more. Last time, press your feet into the earth. And lower down, good. Flip onto your back. We're going to take a supported bridge pose. So whether you have a bolster or a block, or if you do have a block, whichever side you want to use is completely up to you. So if you want to start on its lowest level, stack it underneath your hips and stay here, perfect. You want to incrementally lift it so it's higher. Eventually you can get to that highest point and just stay. Regardless of which height that you're at, think about pressing your feet into the ground and softening through your glutes. Traditionally in this pose, people squeeze and once again add a lot of tension into the low back. Soften and press down through your feet. You can stay here for as long as you want. I think this will be one of your favorite poses if you are someone that suffers from chronic back pain. For the sake of the video, we'll just be here for a few more rounds of breath. Three more rounds. And release. Set your block aside. Let your knees rock together. Take your feet out a little wide. You can bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your stomach. Just taking a few moments, let your spine neutralize. Good. Then walk your feet back to 12 o'clock, hip distance apart. We're going to do a little core work. Lift your right foot to the ceiling. Good. Draw your stomach down towards your spine. Drop your right foot 1/3. Drop it 1/3 more. Take it to a hover. Come up 1/3. Up 1/3. All the way up. We're going to do that 2 more times. Engage through your core. Drop 1/3. Drop 1/3. Take it to a hover. Up 1/3. Up 1/3. All the way up. Wake up your toes. Spread them wide. Last time. Drop 1/3. 1/3. Drop them to a hover. Take your leg out to the side 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Come back to center all the way up. Switch sides. 3, 30, 60 lifts. Bring awareness to your lifted foot. Spread your toes wide. Drop 1/3. Drop 1/3. Take it to a hover. Really press out to the bottom of your foot. Up 1/3. Up 1/3. All the way up. 2 more times. Down 1/3. Down 1/3. Take it to a hover. Up 1/3. Up 1/3. All the way up. Last time. Down 1. Down 2. Down to a hover. Take your leg out and in 5 times. Out and in. Out and in. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly lift your foot all the way back up. Plant both your feet hip distance apart. Bring your fingers to Charlie's Angels fingers. Point them to the ceiling. We're going to do a few crunches here. I want you to stay grounded through your low back. Press your stomach down towards your spine. Lift your shoulders off the earth for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Bring your knees together, feet out wide. Take a moment. We're going to do 10 more. Come back to center. Here we go. Last 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. You can bring your knees together or you can come to a reclined butterfly. Bring your soles, your feet together, knees out wide. Seek your truth. Do what's best for your body. Good. We're going to take a reclined half pigeon. Bring your feet back to 12 o'clock. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Thread your hands through those little holes it creates. Draw your left thigh in towards your chest. Keep your feet nice and awake, nice and flexed. And breathe. With each round of breath, soften through your jaw, your shoulders. Go ahead, switch sides. Left ankle over your right knee. Draw your right knee in. Should be feeling this through your hip here. This is a good stretch for your piriformis. Sometimes people with sciatica, what happens is your piriformis, your hips get so tight that it pinches your sciatic nerve. That's why it's important to get your hip opening and your hamstring opening in addition to your low back stretches. Get that whole area to open and release. Good, go ahead, release, rock onto your side, and then come up to a seated position. And take a seated butterfly. Once again, straight back is key here. If you have blocks, you're welcome to add support underneath your knees. Lead with your heart. Big inhale, extend, and lean. Incrementally follow your breath. Up. Seated single leg extension. Extend your right leg long. Keep a bend in your knee. If you want, you can stick a towel or a blanket underneath your extended leg. Once again, back nice and straight. Start to lean forward. Switch sides. Notice how my feet are nice and awake. Spread your toes wide as if you were standing on your foot. Add the bend and the support underneath your left knee. Begin again with adding breath and flow into your fold. Come back up. We're going to extend both legs long. Once again, the support underneath your knees. This would just be equivalent if we were standing and folding forward, that nice bend in your knees. Good. Slowly walk your hands out. Contrary to popular belief, touching your toes is not the goal of this pose. If you are feeling a stretch through your hamstrings, that's it. That's the goal. Inhales, lengthen. Exhales, fold. Good. Go ahead, come up. Set your supports to the side. We're going to take waterfall as an inversion. So if you have a block or a book, you can take it right underneath your hips. Draw your shoulder blades in towards each other. Stack your ankles, knees, and hips in line. This can also be done without any support. So if you don't have any of those items, you can simply stack up. Ankles, knees, and hips. Whichever option you're choosing today, just sit here for a few moments and breathe. This pose promotes relaxation and rejuvenation. Good, go ahead. Lower your feet to the earth. Rock your knees side to side. Hug both your knees into your chest. Keep your right knee tucked, extend your left leg long. Press out as you squeeze in, and then switch sides. Squeeze your left knee in, really press out to the bottom of your right foot. Good, bring both of them back in, rock side to side. And let both of your knees go to the left. Take your gaze to the right, supine twist. This is another pose that you can hold for as long as you'd like. For the sake of the video, we'll be here for 3 more rounds of breath. Good, come to center, then switch sides. Gaze over your left shoulder. Goal here is to have your shoulder blades as grounded as possible. Three more rounds of breath. Good, come back to center. Once again, you have that option, knees together or knees out. Take a moment, neutralize your spine. Big inhale in, fill up. Big sigh out, let go. Shavasana, deep rest. Relax your feet to the corners of your mat. Your hands out wide. Completely surrender. When you are ready to awake, rock on to your side. Pause for a moment. And then come up to seated. Thank you all for letting me lead you through this sequence today. Take care. Namaste.